to a machine shop and have them drill a hole through it. And when I put it back together, you know how on the new ones they got the detention ball, and it, you know, it helps hold it.
You're actually kind of ahead of us.
Well, that's why I fixed that.
Hold that thought.
What Guy is talking about is OMC realized there was a problem. And so they changed this. And in here, these bearings just pull right off. That's the dog itself. And in here, they would drill a hole down into the shaft. Inside, they would put a spring and a ball as a retainer.
Two balls.
Two balls. So that when this dog moved back and forth, it would lock it in place.
You also have the clutch dog that has a groove on the inside.
Excuse me?
The clutch dog has to have a groove on the inside.
Well, the clutch dog is different too. It has to have the newer clutch dog.
If you've had motorcycle or car transmissions apart, it's common.
Okay. So anyway, this is a bad clutch dog. It's got oil on it, so I'm not going to pass it around.
You can just hold it up to the camera right
If
here.
you've never had an OMC apart, these are bad clutch dogs. You can pass those around. People can tell what they are. That's a bad one. This is a mating gear, and you'll see on that mating gear that there are two tangs on the inside. The tang is worn on an angle. It should be a sharp edge, and that's what that dog locks into, is the sharp edge. And these edges are rounded off. So when you put it in gear, it jumps back out. You can pass that around.
Hey Bob, is that why you were talking about they like to go in gear fast?
Right. So when you put an OMC in gear, the old ones, you don't mess around. Don't slowly put it in forward or slowly put it in reverse. When you do that, you can actually hear the dog knocking in the back of the engine. Boop, 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 and then locks into gear. When it does that, it takes that sharp edge off and will cause it to pop out of gear under a load. So when you put it in gear, at an idle, pull it right into gear. Don't fool around. Just boom, into gear and away it'll go. Or put it neutral, boom to forward or reverse. Shouldn't have a problem. So,
What happened to the shaft?
oh, the shaft's over there. The other problem, other than jumping out of gear, is that these things leak. The shafts are not real hard, and they get grooves in them. You can see here, this one's not too bad. It's got a little bit of a groove on it. That's where the seal rides. And so oil will leak past the seal, get inside the lower unit. That's not so bad. But when you store it in the winter in the shed out back and the water's in the lower unit, it'll break the housing apart. That'll be the end of that.
Where are the seal wear marks?
This is, the seal rides in here.
Rides right in here?
Right,
Okay.
and you'll see a little bit of a groove right there in the seal.
That one's actually nice.
This one's not bad.
Little
This is
polish
not a
there.
good example.
Yeah.
This is the drive shaft itself. It comes down from the power head. This drive shaft goes down and hooks into the pinion gear, which is inside the housing. This one was used as a stake out in the driveway, so the end of it is all smashed in. And it was used because these are the seals and where the seals were supposed to ride. You can pass that around. You can see how bad that one is. And so they leak from that area, and that's around the water pump. The other area that they leak from is what's known as the shift shaft seal. This lower unit is brand new out of a box. New old stock, 1955, 56. If you look down inside, there's a hole down in there. And in that hole goes the shift shaft. That's this. This shift shaft fits down inside this hole. So when you pull that gear shift lever up and down, this shift shaft rides on a big O-ring on the inside. Most guys, when they reseal these lower units, do not replace the shift shaft seal because it's a pain in the ass. But it's a bigger pain in the ass when you have to take it apart and it's full of water. Okay?
So how do you replace it?
Okay, so in order to replace the shift shaft seal, this shift shaft seal was taken out. What holds the shift shaft seal in is this brass retainer. It fits up inside of this housing, way up inside there. So you must get
from the bottom?
Right, it goes in from the bottom. And if you pass that around and look down inside, is there a flashlight here?
The bushing goes into the top. The bushing goes into the top.
That's pretty badly worn.
Bottom. Bushing goes in from the bottom. This is the bottom.
Lay that side.
For the shift shaft?
Yep.
Okay, most of them go the other way.
Well, this is a big twin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
The smaller horsepower, maybe. I don't know. I've never had one of those apart.
Yeah, they go to the top.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, if you look down inside, whether it's top or bottom doesn't make any difference because it needs to be in there and it needs to be replaced. So if you look down inside, take the flashlight, look around, you'll see that there is a blind hole, almost a blind hole in there. And this slug fits down inside. Okay? Now, in the end of this slug, there's a big O-ring that goes in there and a flat disc. Sometimes you can't get that flat disc out, but you need to get that O-ring out. And you put a new O-ring in. I usually put them in this. Tap that back down. It'll fall down inside. You have to take a piece of metal rod, your basic metal rod, finagle it so it's halfway in, and then just go around and tap it down until you hear that hard bonk, bonk, knowing that this is then seated inside that housing. And then you're all set.
So you drive it out the same way.
You drive it out
From the other end.
You drive it out the same way from the opposite side.
Find something with a sharp edge.
Right, this has got a shift shaft seal, shift shaft in it, and just bang that down, and that slug will come out of it. Now, when it comes out, this one actually has the seal in it, so we'll pass that around. Where's that shift shaft I had? Is that out there somewhere?
I think it's come back over there, isn't it?
Did I put it back over here? There. Now, what's very important when you replace the shift shaft seal, this is where the connector for the shift shaft goes. This end right here. Okay? And so there is a brass connector that connects the upper shift shaft with the lower shift shaft. When you take it apart, you have to take the bolt out. You can't just loosen it up and it'll drop down. It won't happen. It's got a little waist right here, and the bolt has to come out. Now, over a period of time, this edge gets real sharp. So when you put this back in after putting a new seal in, and you don't take that edge off, you'll ruin the brand new seal. You'll go like that, you'll jam it in, a piece of, looks like a piece of the moon has come out and landed on the floor, and you go, that'll be okay.
No.
No, it won't. It'll leak. So before you put this back together, you take some emery cloth, which I don't seem to have any right here, and just take and round that edge off. This one's not too bad, but you can feel that. It's got a sharp edge, because you're going to force that back through, and that seal is now like this. So you're going to grease it up, and you're going to push it right through there. If you don't take that edge off, it'll take a half moon right out of that seal.
That shaft should move really tight in that bushing if it's
Yes,
good or
it
new.
moves, it's tight when it's in there. Don't be alarmed.
That's the carrier.
When,
The brass outside part is the
when you have one of these apart,
is that rubber bit inside of there. And see, that one's been bit. That one's been bit. So you have to take
when you
this
have
guy
one of
out
these
and
apart, you go to put a new water pump
put it
in.
back in there because it goes in.
Don't
You have to knock it out. replace
miss
that
this little
crap, and then
rubber
put it back together.
grommet. This one's passable, but feel the difference in the two, and you'll see why you need to put the new one in. That's what seals the water pipe between the water pump and the block. If it leaks, you won't get the full circulation of water. You'll wonder why the side of the motor's all cooked.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You don't want the hard one, you want the soft one, right?
You want the soft one, not the hard one.
That covered.
The hard one goes okay.
It drops down in that hole.
And if you're putting it out, you're gonna go in there and you're just gonna catch the inside of
Barnes
the
and Weld.
Sideways.
Yes, because it's behind.
That's right. Right. It goes in this way. So you gotta come from this way. Any questions?
I do have some gears for that unit.
Huh?
I do have some new gears for that.
Well, yeah, you can see Ed's got all the parts.